Now that we've learned how to create several different types of questions with Google Forms, it's time to start collecting responses. So what we need to do is indicate that we're ready to collect responses, and we're going to do something that's called send the form. So what we see here at the bottom of the page after our last question that we created, we see the confirmation page. This has some options on it for what our people will see when they're done filling out the survey or taking the assessment. So there's an option to show a link to submit another response. Depending on your purposes, you may or may not want to have this checked. If you were using this form to grade student projects on a rubric and you wanted to be able to submit one presentation after another, then you might simply have a name and a rating scale question, and you would want to show a link to submit another response. A lot of times, though, you only want people to fill it out once. So we're going to uncheck this box. Now, you do have the option to let people see the results of the form once they've filled it out by checking that box, and you can allow folks to edit their responses after submitting. For our purposes, we're going to leave all of those unchecked at the moment, and we're going to click on this button that says Send Form. Now, before I do that, I'm going to show you again what my drive looks like. So we've got my first document, my first Google form. This is the one that we're editing and adding all those questions to in this workshop today. Google presentation, second Google form. These are all the files that we have now in that one folder full of files. So now what we're going to do is send the form, and what we have here is a link that we can share, or you can actually type email addresses directly in this box. So what you're going to do is click in this box, add the email address of your small group instructor, which they will provide you with, and also include the email address of your colleague who you've been partnered up with so that you can send your form to those folks. If, for example, you didn't have email addresses handy to type in or to link to, you could click on this link and then press Control and C to copy, and then you could simply go to your email program and paste the link into the email. Once you send that out, then whoever receives the email could click on the link and they'll go directly to your live form. Once this form has been sent, by clicking the Done button, we have to give a destination response. So the default here is to create a new spreadsheet. It takes the title that we have, My First Google Form, and then it adds responses to the end. When we hit create, now we're ready to be accepting responses. The one other thing that we want to check when we're going to send our form is to click on this responses tab up here and make sure that accepting responses is checked. If we click to uncheck that, now the links are dead and there's no more responses being counted. We can turn that on and off as we'd like. So for example, if you only wanted to accept responses until Thursday at noon, you would leave accepting responses checked, and then you would come in on Thursday, 12:01, and you would turn off accepting responses, and now no one else would be able to fill out the form. For now, we're going to leave that on so that in our next session, we can start working with those responses that we're retrieving.